mains, we've got dory, rabbit, foothouse.
Yes, chef.
Yes, chef. Yes, chef.
Yes, chef. Yes, chef.
With a bit of a chilly wind outside, I'm feeling very cosy here at Redbeard Bakery in Trentham Regional Victoria. Al Reader, head baker, has invited me into the hub. Now, Al, I have never seen ovens like this, so can you tell me a little bit about your ovens and the bread that you make here?
Sure. This is a very special oven. It's called a Scotch oven. They're incredibly rare. We're very lucky to have it, in fact. They used to be very, very common right across Australia, but now there are very few of them left, unfortunately. It was built by a guild of Scottish baking engineers, and they're designed to give you the best possible loaf of bread. You just lay the bread straight on the floor, and all that thermal mass, because the oven weighs about 75 tonnes, is just pumping heat into the bread very, very quickly. It's a very smooth, even, deeply penetrating heat. So you cannot surpass Scotch ovens in terms of the quality of the bake. You just get beautiful bread out of it.
I can't wait to try some. Coming up next, we've got fantastic chef Massimo Mille, who's going to show us his own bread making techniques with some Italian street food.
Hello, my name's Massimo. Welcome to the Hugo's Group. Today I'm going to be cooking my favourite street food, and it's slow cooked goat. Okay, it's kind of my version of the souvlaki. Let's get straight into it. I'm going to make a beautiful marinade to go with it firstly. So I've got my mortar and pestle. Now what we're going to do is basically make like a wet rub using some garlic. We've got some fresh rosemary, some anchovies as well. I'm just going to start pounding it up. Now this is a really rustic kind of marinade. You just keep crushing everything up. So I'm going to add some mustard seeds to that, okay? And just, you can already smell that. Okay, what we do now is just a little bit of olive oil, okay? Extra virgin olive oil. And now our kind of rub's starting to come together. Now what we want to do is add some acid to that. So what I'm going to do is add some balsamic vinegar. Just keep marinating with the mortar and pestle. And that's pretty much ready to go. Okay, so what we're going to do now is bring old Billy over here. Oh. What I'm going to do is just take the shoulder off. Okay? There we have our shoulder. All right, so now we're ready to put in the pot. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're just going to add a few vegetables, and basically we're going to chop the vegetables up. Now it's quite rustic, as I said. Now you notice how I'm chopping it quite large pieces. It's going to cook for 6 hours. Grab my pot. Okay, onions go straight in. Tomatoes straight in. So we've made our marinade over here. Now this gets a little bit messy, but you need to get your hands dirty for this dish. And all we're going to do is just scoop it up with our hands and then just rub it all over. Okay, make sure it all stays on there. Sit it over the top. Bit of Glad wrap over there so your fridge doesn't smell of goat and anchovies. And straight in the fridge. Right, to begin making our salsa verde, what you do is we've got some fresh bread and we're just going to marinate it in the red wine vinegar for about half an hour. What they do, it'll absorb all that goodness, and then when we come back to it, we're going to squeeze the vinegar out of it, and what's left will be the bread, which will thicken up our salsa verde, which will be flavoured with red wine vinegar. What we're going to do is grab our mortar and pestle, and we add clove of garlic, we add anchovies and our capers at the same time. We just start to make a little bit of a paste. Mortar and pestles are great. If you're having a bad day, or your aggression is taken out on the garlic. What we do now is we start adding our parsley. Now, salsa verde basically translates to green sauce. Some beautiful fresh mint straight in there. Okay. Now, spend a couple of minutes just pounding the herbs. What they'll do is you release all those beautiful oils and the flavours, and the colour too. You'll see the colour starts to change. So once you've done that, we've got our 1 egg yolk. So we've hard-boiled the egg for about 10 minutes. Take off the shell. And all we want is that beautiful egg yolk. That gives us like that creamy texture to the salsa verde. Okay, so we start mixing that around. Now it's time for the olive oil. We'll just start adding it slowly. So now we've got that in, just keep stirring. This is even great for the kids to do at home. Now we're ready for our bread. So our bread's been soaking for about half an hour. Let's grab the bread, squeeze out all that excess vinegar. So once that's there, you just kind of break it up with your hands, and that just goes straight into the salsa verde. And just start, and you'll see it already start to change. Okay? Now just to put that little bit of spin on the salsa verde, what I do is, no food ever goes to waste in my kitchen. So we have the egg whites, which have been hard boiled, straight in like that. And that just gives it another texture. I mean, it's not traditional, but it's the Massimo influence. Okay, good consistency. Salsa verde's done.
Don't go anywhere. Coming up next are chef's finishing touches on this dish.
Places to go to get my Italian fix. I mean, Haberfield's the little Italy of Sydney, and there's a place that does the best sfogliatella, which is an Italian pastry, which is layers and layers of pastry, which is what sfogliatella means, with this beautiful semolina custard with ricotta. And it's something I used to eat when I was in Naples, and it's something my mother makes. I try and kind of revisit those memories as much as I can, because I don't want to lose that kind of culture. And so visiting those little places, you know, not too often, because those pastries are quite sweet. Right, so the goat's marinated. It's been 24 hours. Let's have a bit of a look. It's looking good, but it's going to be looking even better in about 6 or 7 hours. So what we do now, we want to add some fizzy water. It's Italian, so it's got to taste good. Okay, straight in like that. Some foil over the top. And that'll go in an oven at about 130 degrees for a good 6 hours. Straight into the oven. It should be ready by now. It's been a good 5.5 hours, almost 6 hours. Oh yeah, oh, look at that. That's amazing. So it's nice and soft. I mean, it just falls apart with a spoon. So what we're gonna do, it's really easy. We're gonna get a pan on. We've got our pizza bread going on. That'll take about 15 seconds to cook on either side. And like I said, it's street food. So street food's gotta be quick and easy. So we've got olive oil in our pan, a little bit of our goat. So just shred it straight into the pan like that. There we go. Told you, 15 seconds. We've got one egg, crack an egg, really simple, lightly whisk it. Just start to get a little bit of colour on the goat, straight in there with the egg. Now, it's not the most attractive looking dish, and you think, you know, what a weird dish. Scrambled egg, goat, salsa verde, but it truly is amazing to eat. Okay, our bread's ready. Okay, our goat, it's all cooked. Now it's time to plate up. So really simple. We've got our goat straight into the middle there with our beautiful egg. And then we've got our salsa verde, which we made before, just a little bit on top like that. And just spread it out. Okay, we've got some pecorino. We're just going to grate that over the top. And in true street style, we're going to just wrap it up. So there you have it, my Southern Italian goat kebab. Oh, yum. That's so good.
Let's face it, we all love the convenience of takeaway, but I've got to admit, it's something that I avoid because usually takeout is really high in calories. Well, I am so excited because now I can eat all my favourite noodle dishes with Slim Noodles. Today I'm cooking a delicious pad thai. To start the dish, I'm going to make a really nice, quick omelette. The key to the omelette is to get the pan really nice and hot, so as soon as the egg goes in, you get this wonderful explosion. So just swirl the egg around so that it cooks all the way. If you've got a really good wok, it should be really nice and easy for the egg to slip out. And I'm going to go in with some pork mince. The thing I love about noodle dishes, and particularly this pad thai, is it is really healthy. And with the addition of the Slim Noodles, it's high in fibre, low GI, great for vegetarians, and really great for celiacs because they're completely gluten-free. It's a really good idea when you add the prawns in just to leave them in the pan just for a couple of minutes to let them colour instead of tossing them around straight away. Then you can turn them over and they just need to be really nice and pink. And now for the rest of the ingredients. So next, the beans and the shallots. The Slim Noodles are fantastic and they're really easy to prepare. They take 1 minute, just soaked in a little bit of hot water, drain them well, and then add them into your favourite dish. I've got some gorgeous bean sprouts, which will give it a really beautiful crunch, fresh coriander, and a little handful of peanuts. Now, lastly, I'm going to add in that wonderful omelette that we cooked a little bit earlier on. So one of the other things I really love about Slim Noodles is that they're only 6.4 calories per 100 grams, and that's compared to 300 calories for rice noodles. So they're one of the best noodle alternates on the market, and they're available in all supermarkets and health food stores. You know what? I really love cooking food that I don't have to feel guilty about eating, and with this delicious pad thai, I can have as much as I like and whenever I want. I'm here at Redbeard Bakery in Trentham Regional, Victoria with Al Reid, owner and head baker. Now, Al, tell me about the different types of bread or the bread that you make here, and how does it taste different from, I suppose, your standard bakery loaf? OK, well, we bake real bread, meaning sourdough bread, bread made with a wild culture. And it tastes different because the fermentation process is much more complex. So you get all these beautiful flavours coming through that you don't get with a loaf of baker's yeast bread. It has a longer shelf life, it has a better crust, it is just better in every way as far as I'm concerned. Thanks very much, Al. Coming up next on the show is another boy from the country, Tony Twitchett from Taxi Dining Room in Melbourne, who's going to show us his own artisan skills with his stunning rabbit dish.
Hi, I'm here to show you that I love rabbits. We've just boned the rabbits out, so we've salted it down, we've confit it for a little while, fileted the meat off the bone, and what we've got here is some fileted rabbit leg. With that, we make a rabbit mousse with some dried shiitakes, rehydrated, cooked off. So we've got the loin laid out with the belly flap, and then we're going to pipe the mousse through right next to the loin. Once we've got that done, we're just going to roll them into their own belly and just create a sausage. So roll it over, and then we're going to take a little bit of pancetta. It helps baste the meat, stops it from drying out when you roast it. Lay out the 3 sheets of pancetta. Rabbit is a very lean meat, doesn't have a very high fat content throughout the flesh, so wrapping it in a little bit of pork fat is always a good thing. Now we just have to grab a little bit of caul fat, which can be known as crapinette, but it's basically a bit of pig stomach. It's a natural casing for sausages. Don't be afraid of it, it melts during the cooking time. So I'll just take that, put it into our blanket, trim the sides and fold it up. That's going to help it from squirting out during the cooking time. Roll once, twice, again, and then that is it. Basically, I'm just going to get a little bit of butcher's twine, which I've got here. I'm just going to tie them up. Do a loop around the rabbit lengthways, twist the string 3 times, and then just pull it tight. Just use your index finger to snap the string down, and then you're just going to snap it back, and then just snap it back. Leave yourself a centimetre between each tie. Once you get a little bit of rhythm, you can just fly through it. It's easy as that. Lightly season the rabbit loins. We're just going to seal them in a little bit of hot olive oil. What we're going to do is seal all 4 sides of the cylinder, and then we're going to pop it in the oven for 4 and 4. 4 and 4 is a little term that we say in the kitchen. 4 minutes one side, 4 minutes the other side, and then out. As you can see, I've got some beautiful colour on these rabbits now. So I'm just going to pop this into the oven now, give it 4 and 4, give it a hot rest.
Now, one of my favourite dishes is this beautiful chicken tarragon and mushroom pie. I'm using the Borg's extra flaky puff pastry, and I'm just creating a lovely little top for the pie. What I'm going to do to start is I'm just going to sweat off some onions and a little bit of oil. That bit of caramelising is going to work really well to give our base of this dish a great flavour. There's a little bit of browning on there. I'm going to go in just with some diced chicken. You want to brown the chicken off for a few minutes. The rest is pretty simple. I'm just going to add in some mushrooms. Just a tablespoon of flour is going to help kind of combine all of the juices from the chicken and also create this delicious gravy. 30 seconds, and then we're going to add in some chicken stock. Okay, so we just want to cook the sauce for about a couple of minutes, just until it thickens up and really nicely coats the outside of the chicken and the mushrooms. So tarragon is a beautiful French herb that goes really well with chicken and mushroom. So just leave it aside. Now I'm going to make my little pastry tops. So just pop one down on the pastry using a sharp knife, And then all I'm going to do is then sit that in on top of my mixture. Now my mixture's cooled down enough that I can spoon it into my little pies. All right, to finish off these little morsels, I'm just going to pop the pastry top and then just tuck in the edges. Really important as well, what we're going to do is just to pierce the top of the pie when you're finished. Now I've got a little bit of egg wash as well that I'm just going to brush over the top, and that's going to give a lovely glaze. So I'm going to pop these in the oven until the top is beautiful golden brown and nice and flaky. So here's my beautiful chicken, mushroom and tarragon pie. All I need now is a nice soft comfy couch and a great DVD.
Well, I think I've got a very unique philosophy on food. Because of my training, when I first started out, basically my whole apprenticeship was all French cookery, but then once I finished my apprenticeship, I got to travel around Southeast Asia, and I really sort of fell in love with all the flavours I got there, you know, the fresh herbs and the fresh salads, but I always try and balance every dish out with like a hot, sour, salty, sweet, which is very unique to the Asian cuisine. I've really sort of adapted my own sort of cuisine, which is, it's been labelled Pan-Asian, it's good, but I just think it's just unique. It's probably modern Australian because I'm a modern Australian chef and I just use things that influence me. So now we need to make the Shaoxing wine pickle. So this is what we pickle our baby vegetables in, but also it's the dressing that actually moistens a dish. So I've just flamed it, so I want to burn the alcohol out of it. I don't really want the dryness of the raw alcohol. So now that the flames are all burnt out, I'll put my sweet sugar in, I'll put my salty soy in, and then I'll put my acid component, which is rice vinegar, and then this beautiful chili peanut oil. While it's still hot, we've got our baby vegetables. So I've just carved some baby carrots, some baby turnips, and baby beets. So we're just going to drop them in there and let them do their thing. So what we're going to do now, we're going to actually smoke the buffalo yogurt. So I use a little bit of buffalo yogurt. It's really, really rich and creamy. Just build a little alpha boat. We're going to send our wood chips on fire. And we're going to create a bushfire in a pot. Those wood chips are really burning now. Got a really good flame on them. We're going to pop the yogurt in. Wet towel, we're going to dump it over the top. Smoulder. Beautiful. Thick white smoke. And we're going to put a lid on it. Just get this really, really tight. Don't let any of that smoke out. And we're just going to leave that now. And all that smoke will penetrate the yogurt and get smoked yogurt. Beautiful smoked yogurt. Okay, so we're at the final stages of the rabbit now. Get them into the pan. Chuck the kidney in. Now with the kidney, you don't want it in there for very long, okay? So as soon as you put the kidney in, you want to put some butter in. Because you want to keep the kidney nice and pink, I'm just going to take that out straight away. Leave the rack in there, and we're going to chuck the loin in. So get all that really nutty butter. It's already cooked, it's beautifully rested. And now what we're going to do is just give it a nice heat in that foaming butter, a gentle reheat. So now I'm just going to carve this rabbit. So I just take both ends off. Now to arrange it, I like to make it quite pretty, so I'll cut it into 5 slices. You can see the beautiful loin, and then you can see the farce here with the rabbit, pancetta around, and then a nice medallion. Kidney, nice and pink, and then the rack. Make it nice and pretty. Just fold these 2 bones back together. So now we need to assemble this plate, and we need to make it look beautiful. So I've got the smoked yogurt. I'm just going to put a very large dollop, one end of the plate. Grab my trusty little crank, make a nice bed. The largest one in the centre, on either side. And basically we'll build this up. Each side will slightly mirror each other. Some baby turnips. So we'll put these baby carrots on, because rabbits eat carrots. The beautiful rack and kidney. Place that down on front. Kidney on top of the tower. And now we've just got some beautiful little shoots and flowers just to pretty it up. Try and keep it a little bit creative, a little bit inspirational. And now to dress the plate, we just got a little bit of the Shaoxing pickle. It's got all the flavours of the vegetables in there. And just gently drizzle that. Make sure you hit the rabbit. And that's it. That's rabbit at Taxi Dining Room.
All right, so today's dish is wholemeal spirals with a green sauce. So we're using a different pasta today, using the San Remo wholemeal pasta. It's a very, very different pasta to your normal durum wheat pasta. It's a really nutty flavour because of the whole grains. I guess it's your white bread versus your whole grain bread. You notice it. That's why I'm going to pair it today with my salsa verde. We've got beautiful parsley, chives, basil and mint. And I've got a bunch of each, just torn them off the stalk, put them into a food processor with a bit of mustard, 3 cloves of garlic, 6 anchovy fillets, as well as 20 mils of lemon juice. Just blitz it all together till we get this, a beautiful, nice, thick salsa verde. It's a bit like a pesto, but we're not using pine nuts and cheese, so there's a bit of a healthier version, but very fresh and tasty. This dish is really simple, so I've cooked my pasta off. I'm going to add it straight back into my pot that I cooked it in. There's a little bit of pasta water in there, which is good because it'll help in our sauce. And then I'm going to bring it over onto the board, and all I need to do to finish this off is to add my salsa verde. And it's a simple matter of just mixing it through. You can really smell this now. The freshness of all the herbs, the lemon zest and the mustard is really coming out. You know, this would work really well as a pasta salad if you wanted to make it the day before, but it's also a great meal if you want to have a nice healthy pasta dish, no cheese, no cream. It's going to really fill you up for a day of sport the next day, or if you need a real carb load, this is the pasta to do it. Now, just to add a little bit of texture to this, I've just got some toasted walnuts. You could add things like cheese, breadcrumbs, but I think to keep it healthy, we're just going to add toasted walnuts on top. You can give it a lot of crunch. So for the sports person in any house, it's a perfect Friday night meal. And although I'm not a sports person, obviously, I'm still going to eat it. Not bad if I do say so myself.
Next time on Yes Chef, Hajime Horiguchi from Wasabi Restaurant in Noosa creates his favourite snapper dish, and Chu Li Luck from Claude's in Sydney talks about why she ditched her law career to be a chef.